couple of teams have their rookies reporting today, the Raiders and the Bills. By the end of the week, there'll be 6 teams, I think, that are up and running. By next Tuesday, everyone will be going. It is done. It is over. We have gotten through the period of time where there isn't as much news happening, but there's still plenty of news that happens. And here's the bottom line. It slows down, but people still want to know what's happening. This is the time of year where people watch and wait and worry. Is there reason to be concerned about my favorite team? Is there reason to feel good about my favorite team? Is something going to happen in the months of May and June and the middle of July that caused me to feel differently, good, bad, or otherwise? People who are all in with their favorite teams, people who follow the NFL on a religious and zealous basis, never want it to slow down. They want to know what's happening at all times. And again, as I said earlier, it's part of people's routines. You want to check the websites. Hopefully PFT is one of them. The Twitter feeds. Hopefully ours is one of them. What is happening in the NFL? Watching, waiting, hoping for that team to get better or that team to not get a lot worse. Remains to be seen how much better the Vikings will be in 2022. We did a mailbag yesterday on PFT, and one of the questions was, what are the teams in each conference that could basically fall anywhere? They could be horrible, they could be great, they could be at any point in between. And the Vikings are one of the teams that stand out to me in the NFC, primarily because of the potentially improved offense. It's kind of a weird thing to see a new GM and a new head coach come into a team that doesn't have a significant dramatic personnel overhaul in year one, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Now the defense is changing from a base 4-3 to a 3-4, and those looks change all the time with nickel and dime packages, et cetera. And who knows what the defense is going to be. Can't be much worse than it's been the past couple of years. The offense is really the question, because you think about the way it's gone under Mike Zimmer. And this is why, all due respect to defensive coaches out there and defensive coordinators aspiring to become head coaches, I'm a firm believer in hiring an offensive head coach, because if you have any success as a team and your head coach is a defensive guy, you're going to lose your offensive coordinator. He's going to be gone. He's going to be a head coach somewhere else. If your head coach is an offensive guy, he's the one that becomes bound at the hip with the quarterback. Together, they work through years of success. And as the team does well and assistant coaches get opportunities elsewhere, the guy who is making the offense go ultimately stays put. Look at the Rams. Sean McVay stays put. Zach Taylor gets a head coaching job. Kevin O'Connell gets a head coaching job. The head coach is still there, tied at the hip with the quarterback of the team. So, with Mike Zimmer gone after a revolving door of offensive coordinators, either fired or quit or promoted to head coaching jobs, now, for the first time in a decade, the Vikings have an offensive head coach. And when you consider how the offense struggled in recent years, but still was pretty damn potent and has some great weapons in Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. They expect a lot of Irv Smith, who had a knee injury last year that impacted him dramatically. KJ Osborne has had his moments. Kirk Cousins, when everything goes well, that's the narrative. When everything goes well, he can get it done. It's only when things start to crumble that it all falls apart. Well, now that you've got better coaching offensively, maybe things go well more often. Maybe that play that crumbled was the result of a bad play call, a bad audible, a bad decision before the snap, not something that happens after the snap. We know what the limitations are of Kirk Cousins. He's not going to run around like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. When the walls close in, it's done. So you try to engineer situations where the walls close in fewer times than they did in the past. And this is all about self-scouting. I remember when the Vikings got to the brink of the Super Bowl 2017 and got blown out by the Eagles. One of the concessions made by Zimmer after the game was, we kind of learn when we get this deep into the postseason, you have to spend a lot more time figuring out your own tendencies. Words to that effect. Look, that is an active, constant process that should happen all year long. It shouldn't be you get to the postseason and say, gee, we've got 17 regular season games of film out there. Somebody may use that against us. No, you've got to assume that they're using it against you every week, all the time, and you have to constantly stay ahead of it. And that's what I think Kevin O'Connell and this offense will do. And that could lead to good things for the Vikings this year. We'll see. They could, as I've said, go anywhere from NFC Championship all the way down to third or fourth place in the division. Who knows? But the offense is going to be a big part of that. And that's why when I saw the recent comments from receiver Justin Jefferson to Complex Sports that he regards Devontae Adams as the top receiver in the league right now, but next year he intends to be that guy. Yes, it's the normal glass half full bravado. And if you don't have that confidence in yourself, who else is going to have that confidence in you? And that's just the way you got to be wired to survive, not just thrive, but survive in the NFL. You have to have a high degree of confidence in yourself. Chase Claypool recently said he views himself as a top 3 receiver, and he got dragged by a lot of people for it. Look, you need to have that. And maybe talent-wise, he's got the ability. We just need to see it blossom. We know Jefferson is already one of the top receivers, and he was one of the top receivers on a team that had kind of a basic meat and potatoes old school offense. That's one of the things that Jefferson said not that long ago. Spoke to Jory Epstein of USA Today during offseason workouts, how different the offense is going to be, how dynamic it's going to be. We talked to Justin Jefferson at the Super Bowl after Kevin O'Connell got the job. He's going to be the Cooper Kupp in that offense. And you look back at last year and you look at the week-to-week performance, it isn't going to take much for Jefferson to be what Kupp was in that Rams offense. So you take a guy who's already one of the best receivers in the NFL with an offense that left plenty to be desired. You pump up that offense. You create more opportunities. All of a sudden, Vikings have the ultimate good problem to have, where after this season, they're going to be paying Justin Jefferson $30 million a year, and he will have earned it potentially. If he stays healthy and if it goes the way he thinks, could be a magical season for him. And as Ben Lieber said to Zach Zelb of CBS Sports Radio, which kind of kicked off this whole topic for me on Sunday, the defense was crap the past couple of years. The offense wasn't horrible. The offense stays where it was or gets a little bit better, and the defense just improves a little bit. And this is a playoff team in a wide open NFC where you've got the Bucks, the Rams, and the Packers, and then kind of everybody else. You know, somebody from the NFC East is going to make it by winning the division. Eagles, Cowboys, who knows? But you got those 3 wild card spots now wide open. And it's not unreasonable to think, even with a first-year GM and head coach, the Vikings can get one of them because of the talent they have and the new approach that will happen offensively.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.